Alright guys, here is the Unit 4 test review. Let's start with question 1. 1 is asking what is the range? Well, if you get confused about domain and range, don't forget about this little guy called Dr. XY. The domain goes with the X values, the range goes with the Y values. So on question 1 it's asking what is the range? It's asking what are the Y values? These are my X values. These are my Y values. So my answer is going to encompass those 5 Y values, which is going to be letter B. Look at question 2. What is the domain? So domain is dealing with the X values. Anything you see that has Y in it, we are going to cross that out. How far to the left does the graph start in the X direction? Well, it starts at -2. And it goes all the way over to +4. So I have my starting and stopping numbers. That doesn't help me out. But now what you have to do is you have to look at open and closed circle. A closed circle has the equal sign. An open circle does not have the equal sign. So we say -2 less than or equal. Put your X in the middle. And then you have just the less than only 4. Question 3. What is the range? This time we're talking about how far in the Y direction does this guy go? Well, it starts down here and it goes all the way up to here. Or you could look at your Y values. It starts at 193 and it stops at 250. They are actually both closed circles. And we're talking about the Y value. Cross out anything that has to do with X. And our answer is C. 4. What is domain? So if I go back to Dr. XY, the question is asking what is domain? What are the X values? Well, here are my X values. My answer is A. 5. If you were to reflect this Y equals -2/5 X plus 2 across the X axis, what would the new equation be? I'm not able to pull up my graphing calculator here, but I'll kind of give you a visual on what this looks like. So here is a coordinate grid. And if I go back to that problem, and I look at the equation, -2/5 X plus 2, that means it has a negative slope, and it crosses at +2. So somewhere up here, so you're going to have a line that's going to be drawn very similar to this one. But we want to reflect that line across the x-axis, which I've highlighted. So we're looking for something that's going to look like this. And you can see that there's a reflection that's being created. And if you go back to the problem and you put the original equation here in Y1, and then if you type in letter C in Y2, you will see the drawing that we just demonstrated for the reflection. Question 5. What is the range? So the question is asking what are the Y values if they give me the X values here. If you need to, you can make a table. X, Y, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my X values. We want to know what are the Y values. We have an equation right here. It's in Y equals. Put that guy in Y equals in the calculator. Go to your table. When X is 0, you should see a Y value of 2. When X is 1, you should see a Y value of 6. When X is 2, you should see a Y value of 10, so on and so forth. So our answer is D. 7. Which of the following graphs shows a function with a range? So we're talking about in the Y. The Y-axis goes like this. So we're looking for something that's going to go up and down, not left and right. That has to do with domain. A range of all real numbers greater than 7. So we're going above the number 7. And if you look at, we'll call this answer choice D right here. If you look at letter D, notice that 7 is right here. and it's going above 7. All right, question 8. Given the equation, find the value of f of 5 over 2. So anytime they give you something like this, we talked about writing f of x equals y. Do I have x or do I have y? If you look right here, they tell you if x is 5 over 2, what is the y value? There's a couple ways to solve this. The first way would be to take this guy right here, put in y equals, and go to your table and look for when x is 5 over 2, what is the y value? Now you might see in your table that it's counting by ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not going to count by 5 over 2. So you'll have to go into table set the table to start at 5 over 2 right here, and when you do that you're going to get an answer of 1. Now there is another way of doing this. What you could do is, if x equals 5 over 2, you could use stow. Take 5 over 2, stow it to x, type this in right here, and it'll give you an answer of 1. Number 9, if this equation is translated, that means it's moved up 4 units. So we're going to add 4 units to the y-intercept. So what is negative 8 plus 4? If I do negative 8 plus 4, I'm going to get negative 4. That's going to be the new y-intercept. They're not asking you to do anything to the slope. So our slope is going to still be 2. Goodbye letter A, goodbye letter D. And if we said if negative 8 plus 4, we should have a new y-intercept of negative 4. My answer is C. Now you can also, if you needed to, you could actually take this guy right here, graph it in y1, and graph this guy in y2. You should see 2 lines that are parallel because we didn't change the slope, and that the new one had moved up 4 units. 10. For the equation, what occurs if the slope, that's this guy right here, the coefficient, the number in front of x, is divided by 1/3 to make the new graph. So if I take 3 divided by 1/3, if I actually do that, my new slope is going to be 9. My new equation is y equals 9x minus 6. I could graph this in y1, graph this in y2, and when you do that, you're going to see the new line is actually steeper. Or, we practiced in the gallery walk the other day, if the slope increases in value, the line becomes harder to climb. It's actually steeper. 11. Y varies directly as x. This is a proportion. We're going to label our proportion window. Let's fill in our parts. Y is 80. X is 32. Find out what x is, that's my question mark, when y is 100. Now we're going to do our cross multiply and divide. 32 times 100 is 3,200. Divide that by 80, you get an answer of 40. 12, this is kind of the whammy. Requires you to do a little bit of work here. So on 12, what you needed to do is you had to find the equation of the line first. I needed something I can put in the y equals button to see these numbers in the table. But unfortunately, I don't have anything to put in y equals. But if you remember, if I give you a table and I want an equation, you're going to do stat edit. So you put your x values in L1, your y values in L2, and then you're going to go stat calc number 4. And when you do stat calc number 4, it's going to give you the value of A, which is our slope, and I believe it was 9, and then it's going to give you a value of B, which is our y-intercept, and I believe that was negative 18. I can take these two numbers now and write an equation in y equals. If I do that, and I'll do this off to the side, let me clean some of this up here. If I write my equation, I should have something y equals 9x minus 18. I put that in y equals. And when you do that, you will see this table. But the question is asking, what is the 267th number? So if I were to go all the way out, what is the 267th number? Well, use table set. Go to table set. Start the table at 267. It will automatically tell you the answer. And I believe it was 2,385, if I remember correctly. And here we go, 13. Clarissa received $20 for a gift card to download music from iTunes. Each song costs $2. What is the range? So they're asking, what is the Y values? The Y values are the outputs. Well, let's break this down here. Let's look at our equation. Each song costs $2. If I were to make an XY table, 0 songs would cost $0. 1 song would cost $2. 2 songs would cost $4. And you would go all the way down, and you couldn't spend any more than 20 bucks, right? So we know if we bought 10 songs, it would cost us $20. The question is asking, what is the range? So what are the Y values? So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, all the way to 20. So my answer is A. It is not D, because D is giving you a range from 0 to 20, which means can I spend $1.50 on a song? No, because the songs go up by $2 every song you download, and you're not going to download a fraction of a song. 14. Given the following graph, find the value of f of -4. So we're going to do the same thing that we did previously. F of x equals y. Do I have x or do I have y? I have an x value of -4. I'm missing the y value. So if I go -4 on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, how far in the y direction would I need to go to hit the line? Well, you would need to go 0, because -4, 0 is a coordinate that hits the graph. So the missing range is A. And then 15, very similar to the one we just answered. Given f of -7, so I write down f of x equals y. I highlight what we have. They're saying if x equals 7, what does y equal? What's the missing counterpart? So when x equals 7, what is the missing y part? -3.